Hello students, welcome to the online session of data analytics using R. In today's session, we are going to study about object-oriented programming in R environment. So basically, object-oriented programming is a programming model which is based on the concept of objects and classes. So you all are familiar with the concept of object and classes in high-level language. So object is nothing but an instance of class, and it can be any real world entity. That is, student can be object, a person is object, animal is object, or any real world thing that has some existence is called as a object. That thing can be a object. And class is what? Class is a template from which objects are created. Means basically a class is a logical thing, and it is used to define a behavior of object by using some attributes or properties and by using some functions. uh, all the classes or some classes can be organized in parent-child relationship. It can be organized in some hierarchy. So we can create a parent and child relationship between different objects by using inheritance concept of object-oriented programming, where if any child class does not have some functions or some methods defined for each, then that child class can inherit the functionality from the parent class. So that is inheritance. In R programming, we have three object-oriented systems: S3, S4, and reference class. So S3 is a type of object-oriented system in R, which was introduced in third version of S language. S4 was introduced in fourth version of S language. That's why it is named as S3 and S4 respectively. Here, all these S3, S4 reference classes, all these object-oriented systems in R language are differ in a way they define classes, methods, and object. It means that in all these three methods, we have different ways to define classes, to define function and objects. The syntax of defining all these things are different in all these three classes in R programming. Here in R, instead of methods or functions, we use generic functions that can be applied to any type of input and produce results based on the type of input. Okay, so generic function is nothing but a function to which we can give any input value. The data type of that input value can be character, can be it can be a double type of data, it can be a numeric type of data, and on the basis of that data type, the data type of input value, that function produces a result. So in R, the most widely used generic function is print function. If you pass a vector as a parameter to that print function, then it will print vector. We can print data frame, we can print matrix, we can print the result of any function by using print function. So in R, print is a generic function which is again a collection of different method. Okay, so if we want to print value of vector, we can pass vector as an argument to that print function, and then it will invoke or it will call the method which is used to print vector. Okay, if we pass data frame as an argument to print value of that data frame to the print function, then after receiving data frame as an argument, that print function will invoke a method which is used to print the value of data frame. So that is generic function concept in R programming. Now here in R programming, the primary objective of object-oriented programming is to print, to make a summary of something, or to plot some statistical data. Okay, so to execute this print, summary, and plot method, basically object oriented programming concept is introduced in R. See, R is primarily a functional programming language, or it is a language which is used to perform statistical analysis or graphical analysis of data. It is not a pure or it is not a classical object-oriented programming language. That's why not all concepts of object-oriented programming languages are supported by R. Okay. Now we'll see what is S3 class in in R programming. So S3 class has no formal definition. So no formal definition means there is no structure defined. There is no predefined structure for S3 class. Okay, and S3 class primarily used to overload any function. Okay. So the syntax to create S3 class or the syntax to create object in S3 class is, first we need to create a list of values that we want to store in any object. Okay, so here I am creating one list called S1 and I am creating data of student in that S1 list. So roll number is given, name is given and city is given. Okay, so here my list is created. Now second thing is to change the class of that S1. Now S1 is a list. When we create S1 equals to list of some value, the class of this S1 is list. Okay, now we want to assign some another class to this list. So when I say class of S1 equals to CO student, it means that I am assigning CO student class to this S1 list. So this is how we can create S3 class. Now this CO student is a logical class. Okay, this CO student has no predefined definition, no predefined structure. We have not created any structure for CO student class. Okay, we have just created one object called S1. We have created that list and then we have assigned CO student class by using class function to the S1. So now in this case CO student is a S3 class because it has no predefined definition, it has no formal definition, and S1 is the object of that class. Okay, now see, when we say S3 class has no formal definition, it means that the object of S3 class can have different number of attributes or different number of values. For example, here suppose S1 is the object of this CO student class. This S1 object consists of 3 attributes: roll number, name and city. Okay, now you can create another list called S2 and you can assign CO student class to that S2 list, but in that S2 list you can have different number of attributes other than S1. Like I have created S2 list consists of attribute roll number and name only. Okay, and then I can assign CO student class to that S2 list. That's why it is said that S3 has no formal definition, because generally whenever we create any class in any object oriented programming language, first we create a structure of that class, we define data member in that class, and whatever object we create for that particular class, all the objects created for that class have same number of attributes. Okay, but here in our S3 class no such a condition is there, no such a compulsion is there. In S3 class you can create number of objects and all the objects can have different number of attributes. Okay, now here we'll see how to create print method for S3 class. See, we have one built-in print function in our programming language. Now here using S3 class we can overload that print function. That is, we can create our own definition to print object value of S3 class. So here I have created that print function by using syntax print.co student. Now it means that this function is created for printing data of CO student object. Okay, equals to function. Okay, we are creating new function and it receives one parameter x. This x parameter is nothing but a object. Now while calling this function we can pass this x, we can pass the name of S3 object as a argument. So here the body of this function is that I am displaying data as per my requirement. That is, I want to display student roll number equals to roll number, student name, student city, and then some value x dollar roll number. It means that we are displaying value of roll number from x object. We are displaying value of name from x object, and similar for city. Okay, and this cat function is used to display, it is used to write output to the output console, or we can write output to the file also. So this is how we have created print function for our S3 object, and now we are calling that function by using this syntax print in bracket S1. Okay, now here instead when we say print in when we execute this particular command print in bracket S1, by passing S1 object to that print function, we want to display data of S1 object. Okay, now here instead of executing default print function, R will execute this new print function which is created for this CO student class. Next we'll see how to create function or how to write function to create an object of a class. Now if we want to create S3 class object, if we want to have same number of attributes in all the S3 class objects, then we can have a function, we can create a function for that purpose. So here I have created one function called create obj, and this function receives three parameters SNO, SNM and CT, and in function body we are creating a list of all these values, means we are actually creating an object. So object equals to list of roll number, SName and CT, and these are the values that a user can pass to create an object, and then by using attr function or attribute function, we can assign class to that object. Okay, so here I have created a list called obj, and then attr of obj means attribute of this obj list comma class, means we are assigning this class attribute to this object. Okay, equals to CO student, means we are creating this object of CO student class through this function. Okay, and then while calling this function, see, we need to assign result of this function to some object. So S2 equals to create obj and then the list of values, okay, that we want to pass to that particular function. So when we execute this command S2 equals to create obj and the list of value, our new object S2 will get created with class CO student. Now we'll see how to add new attribute in S3 class. So as I told you that S3 class has no formal definition, and a different object of S3 class can have different number of attribute. So we can add attribute in any object of S3 class by using attr function. So when we write attr, then first parameter is the name of object, that is S2, and second parameter is the name of attribute that we want to add. So currently my S2 object has three attribute roll number, name and CT, and now I want to add fourth attribute into that S2 object. See, I don't want to add this phone attribute to all the objects of S3 class. I only want to add this phone attribute in S2 class. Since it is a object of S3 class, it is possible. So phone, and then by using C function, because we are concatenating this value to the existing value of or to the existing attributes of S2 class. That's why we are using this C function. C is equals to the value of phone number. So this is how new attribute can be added into the existing object of S3 class by using attr function. Now we'll see S3 class inheritance. So inheritance is a concept of object oriented programming where we can build or we can establish a parent and child relationship between two different or between different classes. So here when we derive any new S3 class from old S3 class, it inherits only functions of old class. Okay, generally when we create a parent-child relationship between two different classes, then in some case we can inherit data members of parent classes also. Okay, but here in S3 class inheritance, new class inherit only functions of old class. New class cannot or does not inherit data members or attributes of parent class. Okay, so here for inheritance also I am creating one list. I want to create one object called S3. So S3 is a list of this object. Okay, so roll number, name and city is given, and now class of S3 equals to, now this S3, this student is from IT department, so I want to create a new class that is IT student for this S3 object, and then I am inheriting that class from CO student class, because for CO student class I have already created a print method and I want to inherit that print method as it is for my new class, that is IT student. Okay, and for CO student again we have written one function that is create obj to create new class. So I want to inherit that function also for IT student class. So instead of creating new functions for IT student, we can implement inheritance so that we can inherit functions from the CO student class. Okay, so here for inheritance syntax is, first you need to create one list and then you need to assign class to that newly created object, that is to list. And while assigning class we need to use C function, and this C function receives two parameters. First parameter is the name of new class that we want to assign to our new object, and second parameter is the name of old class or the name of parent class from which we want to inherit the functions. So here IT student is the name of new class and we are assigning that class to S3 object, and CO student is the name of old class or the name of parent class from which we are going to inherit all the functions. Okay, now here see, we have created print function for CO student, we have created create object function for CO student. So IT student class can inherit all those functions from the CO student class, and if IT student class does not want to use any of the functions inherited from CO student class, then we can create a new function for IT student class, because in S3 we can we can overload any function. Okay, so here instead of using print function of CO student class, I am creating a new print function for IT student class. So print dot IT student equal to function, it receives one parameter that is the name of object, and here I want to print a message like this: student 1 is from Mumbai. Okay, for example I want to print a message like this, so I can overload a print function of CO student class which is inherited by IT student class by using this syntax. So here in S3 class inheritance, whenever we derive any new class from the existing class, we can use all the functions of existing class, or we can create our own function if we don't want to use functions of existing class. Next we have S4 class. Now in S4 class we have a formal definition. Means in S4 class, the structure of class is predefined, and different object of S4 class cannot have different number of parameters. Okay, see here the syntax to create S4 class is given. By using set class function, we can create a class, we can set a structure of S4 class. Here if you carefully look at this set class function, then C is in capital case. So while writing this function, you need to take care of this. C should be in a capital case because R is a case sensitive language. So set class in bracket, first we need to write down the name of class. So here my class name is book, and after that we need to mention a list of attribute by using slots parameter. So slots is nothing but attribute in S4. Slot is a attribute in S4. So here for book class, I want these slots, book ID and book name. Okay, and here along with slot name, we need to specify attribute of each slot also, because in S4 class it is a predefined, it has a predefined structure. Okay, so here I want to have two attribute for my book class, book S4 class, or two slots, book ID which will be of numeric type and book name which will be of character type. Okay, so while creating object for book class, which is a S4 class, we need to enter value for two slots, BID and BName, and the data type of BID is numeric. That's why we have to pass numeric type of data for BID, and we have to pass character type of data for BName. Okay, now here let's see how to create object of S4 class. So object of S4 class can be created by using new function. So B1, I am creating my new object B1. B1 equals to new, and it receives first parameter, the name of a class for which we want to create an object. So I want to create an object for book class. Okay, and since this book class has two slots, BID and BName, after this we'll specify the values of book ID and book name. Okay, so this is how by using set class function we can create a new S4 class, and by using new function we can create a S4 object. Okay, now get slots function is there, get slots of book. Okay, so this get slots function is used to display slot names along with their classes or data types. It means that it will display the name of slots BID and BName and the data types of these two slots, numeric and character. So that will be the output of get slots function. Then another function is there, slot names. See here S and N, these two characters are, these two letters are capital. Okay, so slot names of book or slot names of B1, that is the object of class. So it displays slots in a class without data type. Okay, so it will display BID and BName as a output without displaying numeric and character, these data types. Now we'll see how to change or how to update a value of any attribute. So we have slot function, slot in bracket B1, BID equals to 2. It means that I want to change a value of BID slot of B1 object to 2. The previous value is 1. Now I want to set a new value for this BID. Instead of slot function, we can use @ operator in double quotation. At the rate of B1, BID equals to 2. Means I want to change a value of BID slot of B1 object to 2. Okay, you can either use slot function or you can go for @ symbol, or we can say @ function. Okay. Now we'll see how to create a new method or new function for S4 class. We have already studied function creation for S3 class. Now here in S4 class, we have set method function by using which we can create a method for S4 class. So in S4 class also we can overload any function, any built-in function. Okay. So I am overloading print function here. So set method class receives first parameter, the name of function that we want to create. So print is the name of my function. Then the name of class for which we want to create a function. So I want to create my function for book class, and then function parameter. So function and then obj. Obj is nothing but the name of objective. It is a parameter that we are going to pass while calling this print function. Okay, and then function body. So here I want to display like this: book ID, then id of book, that is obj @bid. Okay, so here instead of dollar we are using @ sign, and then cat book name equals to obj @bname. Okay, so whatever object value will pass here, whatever argument object will pass as an argument, it will display book id and book name from that object. Okay, now while calling this particular function, we need to write print and then b1, or print and in bracket the name of S4 class object. Okay, now we'll see how to implement inheritance in S4 class. So in S4 class, whenever new class is derived from the old class, it inherits functions from the old class, and along with all the functions, it will also inherit all the data members of old class. Okay, so see, here I am creating a new class author by using set class function, set class author. Then slots of this particular class is author ID, which is numeric, and author name, which is a character. Okay, so this is the list. These slots I want to create for my new class, that is author, and I want to inherit this author class from book class. So contains keyword is used to specify the name of class from which we want to inherit our current class. So here when we say contains equal to book, after execution of this command, our new class will get created, that is author, with slots, current slots, author ID and author name. And since this class is inherited from book, it will also consist of data member from book slot, book class. So in our book class we have bid and bname as a data members. So when we create a new object, see here new by using new function we can create an object of class. So I am creating a1 object for author class. So a1 equals to new of author, it is a class name. We need to specify values for book ID and book name also. Now see, while creating author class we have mentioned slots author ID and author name only, but we have inherited this class from book class, so we need to specify values for the attribute that are present in book class also. So in book class bid attribute is there, bname attribute is there. Then while creating object of author class we need to specify values for book ID and book name also, then the value for author ID and then the value for author name. So this is how inheritance can be implemented in S4 class. So this is all about our today's session. Today we have studied how to create S4 class, how to create object of S4 class, and how to overload function in S4 class, so and S3 class. In next session we'll practically execute all these concepts. Thank you.